interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
I love it.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another Vikings Uncensored Live. We are here. It is Saturday night, and we got a game tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Motor City to take on the Detroit Lions. And there's a lot to talk about here tonight. Got some news stuff. We got kind of a state of the team thing we're going to talk about here a little bit. And then, of course, we'll get into the game itself. But JJ McCarthy, ladies and gentlemen, is back. He is a full go. Sounds like actually most of the players, the big name guys, Van Ginkel is back this week. Sounds like O'Neill is good to go. So probably closest to full strength that we've been to in a while, but we'll
Perfect
get to
timing too with your franchise. Hopefully, to be franchise quarterback coming back, getting all these guys back as well. Hopefully, we see what we expected to see coming into the year.
And we'll get into that again a little bit here too. But I guess just to start off with, we'll hit the Carson Wentz thing here. Discussing Act, Norsevius, Ant, Bob, everybody in the chat. Good evening.
Appreciate all you guys being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Carson Wentz, of course, this week put on injured reserve. Come to find out, he had a dislocated shoulder and a torn labrum and
Chevy.
A whole bunch of stuff in his non-throwing shoulder. Of course, we've seen he'd been wearing a harness for the last couple of games.
New name, Angel. Hello,
Angel. Good evening. Come to find out, he was. You could tell it in that.
How couldn't you tell?
Right, but I mean, in that Chargers game, every time he moved, he was just wincing in pain. Now,
Disgusted me, man. That just disgusts me.
It's kind of a deal. You see all these people. Oh, the league needs to have an investigation.
Protect the fucking players. And else. Protect the players. Yeah. I know you're not about the investigating O'Connell,
but I'm not. And this is not the first time somebody has played with a fucked up non-throwing shoulder. No, and he does not need to be punished for that. If you go back and watch Carson Wentz's presser he had on whatever it was Tuesday or whatever the hell it was, he said,
the medical staff should definitely looked at.
Right, but Wentz straight out said, "I'm not a fucking idiot. I knew what I was signing up for."
Sometimes you got to protect these guys from themselves, Rhino.
Yes, you do, but all this stuff about this is KOC. The medical staff cleared him to play.
But we had two perfectly fucking healthy guys that could have gotten the job done just as well, if not better, than Carson Wentz could have against that Chargers team. I don't give a fuck. There was a play against the Chargers where Justin Jefferson ran into JJ McCarthy on the sidelines. You can't tell me that fucking kid couldn't have played last week against the Chargers.
No,
he got two fucking healthy guys, and you're sending somebody out there to get crushed.
He could have played, but again, you got to have the practice and stuff to get into the game plan, which they didn't have that full week of practice. I get it, but
I could understand if
You
the
know,
guy hadn't been around for the whole season.
I guess I'm more not so much McCarthy, but why didn't they put Brosmer in that second half?
I have a feeling it's all ego with this bullshit. It's a Zimmer, Kellen Mond type of bullshit.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, KOC likes Brosmer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he doesn't want if Brosmer is to come out and blow it up, like have a great game against the Chargers. If it's just because he didn't want to have to deal with that type of issue or what. But you don't fucking throw a guy out there who's fucking you got a fractured shoulder socket when you got two guys that are healthy enough to get the job done. Oh, you can't do that because then they're going to get killed behind that offensive line. Well, then you fucking call the game a certain way to protect him.
And they just extended him. He's not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, that's another thing. Everybody thought I wanted KOC's job when I made a post on our page. Of course, I'm sure that you've seen. It's not that I want his job, but I'm starting to lose faith in him as a coach.
And I'm all for that. There has to, that team on last Thursday was completely unprepared and didn't even look like they wanted to be there. And
that was
on the coaching staff.
Stinky pile of shit game that I haven't seen around these parts in a long fucking time, Rhino.
Yeah, and Kevin O'Connell's not the only one to blame for that. Brian Flores shares a lot of blame too because his defense was not ready to play either.
No, and a lot of that goes back, and I believe truly to that callback interception.
The pick six that took. Yeah, I think
completely took the wind out of the sails to start the game. I felt it as a fan.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So.
But
I don't know. I'm not happy with the state of the team right now once we get into that. I can't imagine the morale's very good.
Well, and now you see there's, the Athletic is out there poking the hornet's nest again this week, talking about that there's been tension in Egan since this spring too. I don't know.
I am fucking pissed, Norse. I am. I've been getting pissed as the season's gone on.
Oh, absolutely.
This is arguably the most overhyped Vikings team I've seen take a field in all my years as a fan.
Overhyped from a local standpoint. The national guys weren't necessarily so much.
The national guys never think anything of us. Ever.
No, they don't. But anyway, we'll get into this in a minute. I got a couple other things I want to hit first. Trade deadline approaching. Couple of names we've heard that could be dealt from the Vikings side of things. TJ Hawkinson's name keeps popping up. Apparently they have gotten some calls on him. Denver, I believe, is called. And there was another team, I can't remember who it was, but a couple of teams have called about Hawkinson.
I think if you deal Hawkinson, then you're telling everybody that you're sellers. If you deal Hawkinson.
Well,
I'm not player, I believe, or Addison, which I haven't heard much of anything.
I don't deal Addison, but
no, he's in year 3. He's not going anywhere. He's still in year 3.
But dealing Hawkinson also opens up money next year to keep Addison if you want to do that.
If you know,
and Hawkinson has not been the same player since he came back from that injury that he was beforehand.
Well, everything's been really pretty tumultuous since he's came back from that knee injury as
well. It has, but. And I know they've been holding him in to block and stuff a little bit more, but he's not producing up to the contract that he's got.
Mercedes Lewis has been in the league for 20 fucking years?
I think Mercedes Lewis is 6 months older than me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a great comment, Chevy. Great comment right there.
And if you listen to our friend Tony Bell, he has said things like this quite a few times
throughout the last few years.
Yeah, that basically the Wilfs are satisfied with that because it keeps the team relevant enough to where it keeps butts in the seats.
And that's not good if you're looking to win a Super Bowl.
No, it is not.
They promised us a Super Bowl when they took over as management.
Yeah, and that's going on 20 years ago now. So
you know what? I'm going to talk about the fans for a little bit here and how things are. But I've noticed that the older I get as a Vikings fan, the more the more sick of the bullshit I'm starting to get. Like when I was young, I was like, okay, yeah, there's always going to be next year. But now, you know what? I don't know if there's going to be another next year for me anymore.
Wait till you get to be my age.
Right. And you get these guys that are lifers as Vikings fans. Now it's like your parents used to always tell you, well, you'll understand when you grow up or when you get older. That's how it is as a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
For me. I mean, we haven't even seen a Super Bowl in our lifetime, Ryan.
I was 2 years old the last time the Vikings were in the Super Bowl.
I wasn't born yet. And we haven't won more than 2 playoff games in a season since what, 1988?
1987.
Yes. So come on. I mean, people get so pissed off when you're critical of this team, but damn it, at this point in time, with where this franchise has been and where it is, I have every right as a fan from the age of 10 years old to the age of 40 right now to be critical of this damn team. I am passionate about this team.
And I am
That's why I'm doing this.
Right. And I am never going to be somebody who's going to tell somebody else how to be a fan. I mean,
I'm always up for
you have some of these people who always want to be, the Paul Allen, Ducky and Bunny, sunshine and rainbows and unicorns farting gummy bears out in a field of flowers kind of shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 years old for Rhino. I got you.
But then, then you've got, the people who like me who are getting more cynical the older I get about the stuff. And you hit, the just one before I die crowd, which
I'm guessing they give him one more season on a leash, unless he magically turns this season around somehow and we make a push for the playoffs. Right now, it's all about just trying to get into the fucking playoffs. Unless we lose tomorrow, then it's a learning process for JJ from here on out throughout. And if you make it, you make it. If you don't, then at least McCarthy gets the reps that he needs to get.
Well, and I'm about it. Yeah, if we lose
in response to this.
Yeah, if we lose tomorrow, then the remainder of the season, the goal becomes seeing JJ McCarthy show
and
growth, show development. And good evening or good morning, Nympha, the Filipino fan club in the house.
And it's got to a point where I'm starting to feel like, when KOC first came in, that humble, good guy attitude. But now his ego is just growing every year, and I feel like it's getting to his head.
Well, and I made this comment. I don't remember if I made it on the show or if I made it in our Gallerhorn group that we talked about. But I wonder a little bit of this stuff is this whole quarterback whisperer, and
that's you're on the same page as me. Yes,
coach of the year stuff and things like that. Is that is KOC believing his own hype?
You can make a team work with the shit, because the biggest thing to me from what I'm hearing from everybody else on the outside when I make comments is, well, this offensive line has not been that. You can call games where you have a bad offensive line and make it work.
San Francisco is got just as bad, if not worse, injury problems than what we've got right now, and they're winning games.
Exactly, and then
Mac Jones.
Yeah, with Mac Jones. And then there's another thing I hear from guys. Well, you have to let the process play out. You have to let the process. The process is bullshit, man. Tomlin came into this league. I think, what was it? He won a Super Bowl within his first 3 years. What has he done since? Nothing. John Harbaugh, same thing. Won a Super Bowl his first 3 seasons in the league. What has he done since? Nothing.
He's got him to the Super Bowl a couple of times, but.
And then you got Shanahan even.
Yeah.
Who's got, a great track record even into the playoffs. But hasn't got the big fucking trophy yet either. And these are the names that people rave about. The only outlier is Andy Reid.
Right.
Who KOC is being compared to nowadays is an Andy Reid type of guy. But he's the only outlier in that whole thing about this process nonsense I hear going on. If that's the case, then KOC should have won a Super Bowl last year or this year, right?
Well, and then the process shit coming in here, I mean, part of this, the coaching staff is not the only ones that are going to catch the flack here. I mean, the
No,
The
you're
front
only allowed to
office is going
sugarcoat
to
people,
start
Rhino.
having.
You're only allowed to sugarcoat everything. You can't say nothing positive about or negative about anybody.
No, but the front office is going to start, and I've been a Kwesi supporter the whole time. I've been, because he got us out of the salary cap problem and everything else, but the bad drafts are starting to come back and bite us. I mean, we were covering it up with the good free agent signings and everything else, but the free agent signings this year, outside of Isaiah Rodgers and Jordan Mason, probably, which he was a trade, he wasn't a signing, but the free agency this year has
I'm getting there,
sucked.
Jared.
Jonathan Allen, up until last week, had been pretty much non-existent. Javon Hargrave, ever since the Bears game, I saw him on a milk carton in Walmart the other day. But, I mean, Levi Drake Rodriguez is out snapping him like 2-1.
And no, that's no discredit to Rodriguez either. He's putting the work and he looks he's taking a great step forward. LDR has.
Yeah.
But in response to this, Jer, if you go back and you watch this show from 4 years ago when KOC first got the job, you'll hear Rhino and I talk about a 3-year process numerous times throughout that season. Give him 3 years, see where he's at, go to the drawing table, and then discuss what's going on. And you know what, Jer? I'm not liking what I'm seeing in this process anymore. And like I said, if you don't believe us, you go back and you watch those episodes. We talk about a 3-year process. Well, it's year 4. It's year 4.
Yeah. They're at Lone Wolf. This is a good point. Out of those 4, Will Fries is the only one. I mean, he's played just about, I think he's short of 20 snaps.
Fries will get better. Fries will get better. I have faith that he will get better because he's played like a great player. Is it the blocking scheme, though? I've questioned Cooper.
Chris Cooper needs to go. I fully believe Chris Cooper is the wrong guy for the job here. They need to get a new offensive line coach for next season.
We should have brought in Tice when we had the chance, Rhino.
Yeah, they should have, but they couldn't get things figured out. But yeah, Chris Cooper, the guy, whatever it is,
the blocking scheme obviously is not working.
No, it isn't.
Because you got, I know, we all thought we knew who they were when they left, and Garrett Bradbury and Ed Ingram. And I've still seen some plays where Ingram's making some ugly looking misses on blocks and shit like that. But he's playing much better.
And Bradbury wasn't good here through 2 coaching staffs, so it's.
But he's playing well enough in England, right? We're in New England right now, where they're looking at pushing for a deep playoff run right now under Drake May.
Yeah,
but who he happens to be snapping the ball to. But these guys are looking much better, not as elite at the position, unless you're looking at PFF grades with Ingram. But they're looking much better in different places than what they did when they were here in our blocking scheme. So I'm really starting to question the blocking scheme here in Minnesota as well.
Yeah. Angel, I'm not talking about another head coach for the Vikings right now because that's not happening.
No, like we mentioned earlier in the show, it's not going to happen until at least next year at the earliest.
I don't.
As far as the end of the season goes next season.
Yeah, if we fall flat on our face this year and fall flat on our face next year, then yes, the seat becomes very hot. But you look.
I'm not sold on Robert Saleh either, to be honest.
No, I'm not either. He's a good defensive coordinator, but I think that's where he belongs as a defensive coordinator. That's just
the way it is sometimes in this league. Is that some people honestly are, and some coaches are better in the NFL than they are in college. Where you look at Belichick right now, and then and then some guys are just meant to be coordinators. Where you look at like Mike Zimmer, for example, but towards the end of his career, that kind of fell off the edge of a cliff. But
yeah. Yeah, discussing act, you're absolutely right, and that's.
Where's the morale in the locker room right now? Because it can't be very high.
No. And that's the thing, and it's, somebody made a comment, and I don't remember where I saw this week, but probably it was Twitter or wherever it was, but, you look at Kevin O'Connell, first year was awesome, second year fall off. Third year, awesome. now this year fall off. Well,
it's the same thing. Well, that's how it was when Zimmer's time here. It was every
right,
other
but
fucking year.
is some of that with Kevin O'Connell those 2 really good years, the fact that we have an easier schedule because we sucked the year before, and now when you get a tough schedule, then
and that's another thing. Who are some of these bigger? I'm tying into what you're saying here right now.
Yeah.
Who are some of these bigger teams that Kevin O'Connell's won in his time here? What are some of the bigger games that we really needed to have that Kevin O'Connell stepped up to the plate and showed that we have the nuts to fucking do it?
Couple games against Green Bay and Buffalo.
Yeah. And that's in 4 years.
Right.
Some of these big time teams, when the big boys come to play the Vikings, do we stand up or do we fold? And more often than not, we fucking fold.
Yeah, he's what, 1-5 against Detroit. He's got a winning record against Green Bay.
Yes.
But, can't beat the Eagles. Should have beat the Eagles. The Eagles were begging to give us that game a couple weeks ago.
And to this comment, how many of those 5 teams from last year that went on and go to the playoffs? I don't think very many, maybe 1 or 2.
No, yeah, that was supposed to be a gauntlet, and it turned out that half of those teams weren't any good.
And that's the thing that I mentioned again a couple of weeks ago. You don't know who's going to be good and who's going to be bad going into a season. It's insane. There's the top 4 teams that you expect to be good that are throughout a decade, that usually are throughout that decade, but everything else is a wash.
Yeah. Yeah, Ant, this is one, I saw this earlier too. The Vikings, and I forget who said it. It was one of the national guys, whether it was Schefter or somebody, but that the Vikings might actually be buyers at the trade deadline and that they're looking for a cornerback. You had a cornerback, and you traded him to Indianapolis so that you could keep Jeff Okudah, who has been one of the, if not the worst graded cornerbacks in league. And now he's
That's an ugly sign. That's an ugly offseason sign. You cannot.
And now he's under his second concussion, so he's not playing this week, which is probably addition by subtraction, as much as I hate to say it because I don't like to see anybody injured.
And you got Mekhi Blackman out there having a career.
Mekhi Blackman has been lighting it up in Indy. And it's the same thing. We let Cam Bynum walk in the offseason. I believe, Cam Bynum, we saw all the celebrations and stuff last year, but I mean, there's something more to be said than just the entertainment value of that by taking somebody like that out of the locker room.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's been one of the best cornerbacks or safeties in the league this year.
He was part of that glue for sure.
Yeah,
somebody that you want in your locker room that makes it fun.
You let him walk, and then Theo Jackson's been underwhelming all year long. You haven't really ever heard of his name.
Ant, I like it. I like it, Ant.
He'll play it this weekend. And as much as I hate to say it, because this guy's been one of my, if not my favorite player ever since he came into the league, but Harrison Smith has, he's a shell of what he used to be. I mean,
yeah, this is definitely his last ride. I guarantee you that.
He's just now getting up to the point, I think against the Chargers he played.
No, damn you, Rhino. Damn you, badmouth Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, even if you claim that you're his favorite, that he's one of your favorite players, if you say anything bad about him, there's going to be people jumping all over you saying.
Oh, I know, but yeah, he was injured. The mystery illness all the way through training camp, and then the first 4 weeks of the season or whatever, where he didn't hardly play anything, and then
the mystery injury, had me concerned.
I have heard from multiple people on what it is. I'm not gonna say it on the air because I don't know it for sure. But
it's probably smart not to.
What I've been told what it is. Yeah, I mean it was a procedure that does take some time to come back from, but
you got me along with everybody else in the comment section feeling that feeling, and you all know what it is. But I'm sorry, it's probably best that we don't.
Right? Yeah, I'm not going to speculate on crap like that because that's not what we do here. But
right, exactly. Yep.
And you start looking at some of the other stuff. Other players this year. We went and goes back to the free agent signings that the first 3 years of Kwesi, it was getting those young guys just coming off of their first contract that needed a chance to start, like an Isaiah Rodgers, that kind of a guy is what we
not
when
the
we got
not the ones that are too long in the tooth.
right, the Jonathan Grenards of the world, and those
Who's
kind of
having kind of a
guys.
down year this year. He's getting a lot of pressures, but just like I said last week,
He's just not getting there to get But the opposition's they're getting the ball out quick, which Kevin O'Connell should be watching that and say, "Oh, hey, you get the ball out quick, you avoid the frickin' the rush coming at you, and you can dink and dunk your way down the field with these middle crossing routes and 5 yard, 5 yards on a play."
Well, then you hit the right receiver, and that 5 yards turns into fucking 75 yards.
Right. Yeah, because you get Addison or Jefferson, either one of those guys can take one of those and house it if it,
We have great yak receivers in all of top three of our guys, and Jefferson, and Addison, and a Naylor. All three are yak guys. Why are you not running the quick outs I've been calling for the last fucking 6 weeks of the season? Or the quick slants that we've all been wondering where the fuck they are in this system.
Angel, I am not a Spielman apologist, and I never have been. I
like this compliment. At least Spielman knew how to fucking draft.
No, really, he didn't. The last several years,
was a quarterback.
That's how we got into the salary cap hell that we did, was because Spielman could not draft players to go and develop.
It's because he hung on to those drafted players for too long.
He hung on to them because he couldn't draft replacements that they could fill and develop behind these guys. So when they got long in the tooth, you could change them out. The younger guys were ready to play.
Before we get
early on, he wasn't so bad, but when he got later on in his tenure, then that's where the problem became.
Before we go on, it's all moot anyways, Rhino.
Yeah, it is. But
so the thing is we need to hit. I like these a lot, like a John Lynch, a player's fucking GM that's played the game and understands the game and knows the players. We need to find the right guy. I'm not saying throw the towel on Kwesi just yet, but I'm starting to get to the point to where I'm feeling a lot about the same way as some of these guys that are ready to throw in the towel on the GM.
One I want to get out of there because
Grigson is one of them.
Is Grigson, because the free agency stuff this year has his stench all over it. Ryan Kelly was one of his draft picks when he was in Indy. I mean, Ryan Grigson got ran out of Indianapolis because he couldn't draft, and he got frickin', these guys in, this guy's in, that guy in. He got to a point where he made Andrew Luck retire in his 20s because he got sick of getting the shit kicked out of him every week. Hey, there's not often that you see Brunswick. Not often that you see Brunswick and I going back and forth at each other
right. Yeah, Grigson he needs to get the fuck out.
Yeah, and they promoted Grigson in the offseason, and I think that's where part of the problem became, is because he got more say in the stuff. And
calling for jobs, Rhino.
Yeah,
calling
for
jobs. We are.
I never, when they said they were hiring Grigson in the beginning, I said it on this show, that was a bad fucking move.
Well, Grigson and Cooper, two guys we want their fucking pink slips handed in.
Yep, and like I said, Grigson should have never been hired in the first place, and Cooper's thing has run his course.
He's outstayed his welcome, and his blocking scheme isn't working.
Right.
I mean, when you got Delvin Cook, who Cooper wasn't here for KOC's first season as a head coach. It was somebody else. But Delvin Cook was able to have a damn good season behind that blocking scheme. So,
yeah, you got to figure something else out, because it's not working.
No.
And the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And we've been doing the same thing over and over, and the results are still the same.
And you got to start making that's another big thing with KOC is adjustments, in-game adjustments. It's the same thing with Zimmer too, going way back. Mm-hmm. The last two coaches we've had cannot make in-game adjustments.
No.
At least Brad Childers can make in-game adjustments when he was here as a coach.
Well, and the thing of it, it's not that they can't. It's almost that they refuse to.
It's the ego thing. Back to the ego thing.
Yeah, it is.
This is going to work no matter how much it doesn't.
Right. And the one more thing I'm going to talk about this, and then I'm going to get off my soapbox on this. What is with the debilitating fucking fear of running the ball on 3rd and 1?
Or in the red zone in general.
Yeah. Every time it's 3rd and short, or we'll run the ball 80% of the time on 1st down.
Those are the plays that usually and expect are coming. But it's getting to the point right now where the other opposing teams are expecting the pass.
We are like an 80% pass on 3rd and short. 3rd and 4th and short. Every goddamn time we get in that position, you'll see them empty the fucking backfield, put the quarterback in the shotgun. Now, you went and paid money for this offensive line. You've got Christian Darrisaw, who, battling a little bit of injury, but should be there. You've got Donovan Jackson, guy you drafted this year. You've got Will Fries, a guy you paid big money to bring in. You've got Brian O'Neill, a guy that you're paying big money. And depending upon who's playing, center, Brandle's a big dude if you got him in there. If you can't get a yard in 2 downs with those guys up front and Jordan Mason pounding the frickin' rock.
Who, you know what? In spite of all this, Mason is having a good year.
Yeah.
In spite of the play calling and all, but the thing is that he could be so much better.
But against the Chargers, we ran the ball 8 fucking times.
Nine.
9. Okay, I'm sorry. 9 times. Yeah. At the end, it was.
We started playing panic ball. We were playing panic ball by the halfway through the first quarter.
When it was still a winnable game.
Yeah. Went into panic mode.
Completely just fucking threw the run out the goddamn window, and then we had to pass the ball 45 times with a guy with a broken shoulder.
That's why I'm so fucking pissed about that whole fucking thing, Rhino. That just adds to me being even more pissed about that quarterback being out there. You know what? I give it up to Wentz. Fucking wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Anybody who ever questions Carson Wentz's toughness ever again needs to be fucking knocked upside the head with a phone.
Why I'm starting to question Kevin O'Connell's job.
Yeah. And
you see that as player. You see, okay, you don't get respect for your head coach for that. If anything, the player's getting the respect out of that deal. But as a player, you see that shit, and you're like, oh my God, my leg could be falling off, and they're gonna expect me to go out there. This isn't back in the Jack Youngblood days, Rhino, where dudes played with fucking compound fractures in their forearms or their legs and shit like that.
Yeah, or guys like Jim Marshall shot themselves in the leg with a shotgun and still played that weekend.
Right. Those are the days of past.
Jumped out of an airplane without and the parachute didn't open correctly, and he still played the next game.
Right. Those are the glory days that don't exist anymore. And when you see every single series Carson Wentz walking off the field, fucking grabbing his arm, wincing, and you're gonna fucking keep, and you claim to be the quarterback whisperer that you want to protect your guys.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah, Wentz was the sacrificial lamb, basically, is all it was.
Come on.
And Wentz was never going to ask out of there because, like I said, the guy playing for his childhood favorite team, knowing full well that this might be his last shot to, get himself a spot next year. And
that's what that look on his face told me when you seen him staring up at the sky. That's that look. Like, this might be the last time I play football again.
Right. And, I was listening to Thor Nystrom. He does his Thor's Days on Purple Daily. And he was talking about this stuff too. Some of the more infuriating stuff about this has been the lack of transparency and
they didn't pass as much as they did back in the 70s either. Let me put that out there.
No. But, when Kevin O'Connell goes up for his freaking press conferences anymore, basically all it is platitudes and word salads anymore.
Yeah, it's all coach speak.
And he's starting to get a little snippy. He started in
a Zimmer.
Yeah. Right, which, there's been a couple of times where, the beat writers and stuff have asked a little bit of a pointed question, and he's gotten snippy about it lately.
But you know what, Rhino, and we're kind of going back in a circle here, and I understand this, but I've heard that there's some heat, and this is speculation, and I'm sorry, but I think there's a lot of something to the speculation here. Is there's some heat between management and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah right now, and I'm kind of wondering if it's starting to trickle down into the coaching as well between Kwesi and KOC.
Yeah, and the coaching go. Hey, you
got to
see.
That's why I love you guys as commenters in this show. You're on the yes, thank you.
But yeah, you got to see, and that was another thing Thor brought up this week was the Wills having an audit about going to Kwesi and Grigson or whoever the hell it is and say, hey, you guys said that if we went and got these expensive players, your Ryan Kellys, your Javon Hargraves, your Jonathan Allen stuff, this is what we needed to get over the top, and it blew up in your face. Explain yourself, and how are we going to fix it? Or if we're not going to fix it, then we're going to have to find somebody else who can fix it.
And right now, you know what? And maybe they should have waited. We talked about in the offseason, maybe they should have waited on Kwesi's extension until after this year. Because honestly, I think if anybody's seat's hot, it's Kwesi's.
Yeah, I would.
I could see Kwesi getting the oust after this season.
It's not out of the realm of possibility right now, which...
Depending on how the year ends. If Kevin O'Connell can make it work to where we could sneak into the playoffs or get in as a wild card as a 6th or 7th seed, then and that's a long shot at this point. We're sitting at 3-4, but it's a long season, like we've said before in the last few weeks. But I'm losing faith by the day. But if Kevin O'Connell could somehow put his ego aside, get this team back on track, and start winning some games, then maybe Kwesi will be able to save it. It comes down to Kevin O'Connell saving Kwesi's job.
Probably,
it really does, and that's kind of how it goes. In between the GM and head coaching in any league. Right. So,
but yeah, I would agree. I don't think that they're going to. They're not going to put Kevin O'Connell on the hot seat this year. But yeah, they got it, and with all the draft picks they got next year, they got to hit the draft next year, or else.
And that's what it comes down to as well, Rhino. And we were very, in on Kwesi, but when you're getting into year 4 and you're not seeing any of these draft picks pan out, you got to start questioning on who's making the calls on these guys.
Yep. And, we're talking about the job Kwesi did of getting us out of the cap hell that Spielman left us in it.
And then going and turning around and putting us right back
in it with these other guys. Yeah, I mean,
they were all in on a Super Bowl this year, but the fact of the matter is it's not working out.
No.
We're like we mentioned earlier, we're gonna be lucky to make the playoffs this year. I hope we make the playoffs. That's what it's all about right now, is just trying to find a way to make it in and get on a hot streak of some sort and figure it out. We still have yet to have an identity. I told you earlier in the year, I told you guys all earlier in the year, and Rhino said it best, the cream of the crop always rises to the top. But you know what? Right now, it's the end of October, and we're playing some pretty shitty fucking football.
Right. Well, and I'm going to say this, and then I want to put a bow on this and move ahead to the Lions game, just because we could sit here and bitch about this for 3 hours, and I don't want to do that tonight.
20 minutes yet here on the show, so yeah.
But Kevin O'Connell, his mantras always be at your best when your best is required. Okay, the best is fucking required now.
Right.
The best has been required all season, and it has not been there.
Week 17, our best was required. I haven't seen it since.
Wild card game, our best was required. It was,
Start beating, and then once again, start beating some of these good teams that we need to start beating. Right. I'm sick of. We can beat all the fucking losers.
We're just beating bad. Right now, we can't. We're not even sure we can beat bad teams.
Where is your game? Where is his definitive game? He doesn't have one.
Right.
And right now it's looking like that Chargers game could be it.
Dylan, good evening, by the way. Other fan bases think we are damn dramatic about all this KOC hate. It's not hate, at least not from us. It's not hate, but it's holding him accountable.
Bingo!
And that's what we've done that from day one on this show for the last 5+. We're going we're into our
Exactly,
fifth year of
Chevy.
this show.
I'm right there with you, bud.
It is holding not only coaches but players as well. If they do well, we're going to sing their praises from the
We're not
fucking
going to
mountaintop.
sugarcoat shit around here unless it deserves to be
But if
sugarcoated.
they deserve to have their ass drug out onto the carpet and called out in front of everybody, we're going to do that too, and that's what we're doing tonight. And they need to find, like you just said this a minute ago, they don't have an identity. Chevy said the same thing. We have to find that identity, and that identity cannot be that we are a shitty football team.
As a Vikings fan, I'm getting sick of these empty fucking promises.
Yeah. This always next year, the older you get, the more chance that there might not be a fucking
I heard that for the first time back in 98, Rhino.
I've been hearing there's always next year since I became a fan around when I was old enough to understand football around 1980 or so.
Like I said, as the years go on as a fan, like back when I was younger, I kind of just let it ebb and flow. But now as I'm getting older and I don't know how many years I have left, I'm fucking entitled to be critical of this team.
Absolutely. I mean, football burns through my freaking soul.
Exactly. You know where she is? I'm sick of the bullshit. I'm sick of the empty promises and bullshit.
Right. But I mean, as much as football
I'm sick of getting
burns
picked on for having no fucking rings.
Right. There is, I mean, if we have another Chargers game, I may not start, setting aside 3 hours of my Sunday to sit here and watch a shit product.
People need to start getting pissed about getting fucking jabbed at for not having no trophies. People need to start getting angry about that.
Right. But there's a lot of people out there, and this was brought up earlier, that are content with mediocrity.
After hours, Jer.
Mediocrity doesn't get you a Super Bowl. Mediocrity gets you Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, where you never have a losing record but haven't done anything of any value for 15 fucking years.
Like I said, the first 3 years in the system, in his process that people want to tell me. He goes and wins a trophy. What has he done since? John Harbaugh, first 3 years in his process, wins a trophy. What has he done since? But I'm supposed to believe that the process is going to keep going on for KOC?
Okay, here's the last thing I'm going to say on that. Trust the process, yes. But you can't trust the process forever if you're never getting a result out of it.
We talked about the definition of insanity just 20 minutes ago.
Right. So anyway, I want to move on from this.
Yes.
So let us move on to tomorrow's game, Sunday noon. Minnesota Vikings travel to Detroit to take on the Motor City Kitties. Yes, Chevy, absolutely. And that's our, that's been our mantra from day one. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. We're not going to bullshit anybody. We're going to give you our honest opinion. And for, the rainbows and unicorn, ducky and bunny, Paul Allen people, if you don't like it, sorry. Dale, good evening. Hey,
we always
we'll
welcome level-headed fans up in here.
Yep. Yeah,
60 plus years, Rhino. I'm allowed to fucking voice my frustrations without
absolutely
anybody else.
Absolutely, it is. And if you don't want to hear it, then maybe if you only want to hear the good, then maybe our show's not
the show for you.
May I suggest 9 to noon, every day on KFan. But even Paul Allen's starting to get a little fed up. I've heard a few. So
he got to the point where he didn't even want to be the announcer anymore after Zimmer left. So I mean, he's definitely where we're at, Rhino. He's not allowed to say it.
Yeah. Of course, him and Zimmer got into they used to be best
the
buds.
Horse racing bullshit.
Yeah, and then it all fell apart because he dared criticize Zimmer one day, and then Zimmer, bought him out of the horse racing thing and all that other stuff too. But let's.
All right,
Lions game, yes. CJ Ham not playing again this week. Jeff Okuda not playing again this week, which we talked about earlier. As bad as
I want to see what we got in McLaughlin. Hopefully,
might be an addition by subtraction. Not having a
hopefully.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna bring this up on Okuda. I heard this week. Jeff Okuda has only had or created one incompletion all season on any pass thrown at him. Quarterbacks are hitting their wide receiver when they're targeting Okudah at like a 98% rate. One incompletion.
That's insane. That's how do you continue to field that player? Once again, that goes back to KOC and Flores. How do you continue to field that player when you got McLaughlin sitting in the wings, hungry, young, waiting to show what he's got? But
you had Mekhi Blackman here, and you traded him so that you could put this joker in there.
And then let Blackman go like you were just saying, yes.
Right.
And then put this fuck face in. I'm sorry, Okudah, all respect. I know that you're pro, but damn it, fucking do something to make me believe in you.
Right. He won't be this week because he's hasn't cleared concussion protocol, so he will not play.
Yeah, believe that.
Couple of good news things. So Andrew Van Ginkel, good to go this week.
Awesome.
Let's hope he gets more than 8 snaps.
Let's hope that it's not good to go this week and then not good to go next week, because that's the story of the season right now, and as far as these injuries go.
Yep.
That's what our record needs to be after tomorrow.
Yeah, it has to be. Other than that, Darisaw, I think, on track to play.
He's playing. He's in.
Yeah. So, and O'Neill's good. So we're going to have almost our starting offensive line outside of Ryan Kelly being there.
Who could return next week?
Yeah, he'll come. He's eligible to come off, but I said 2 concussions in 3 weeks and 5 documented in his career. Does he? I don't know if he comes back. I mean, I think he probably tries, but
I think it goes back to whether or not we win this week.
Yeah, that might be.
We do, Jer. We have 4 or 5 of our starters going this week.
Yep. So on the other side of things, Kirby Joseph will not play this week. So ACLs across the league are feeling a sigh of relief. Of course, you still got Branch, who's just as dirty, if not worse.
Branch was my guy coming out, but
I know he was, but ever since he got to Detroit, he's been he got suspended a couple weeks ago for that bullshit after the game with Juju Smith-Schuster when they played Kansas City. Kelly's going to retire, Ant. I don't think you have to worry about cutting him. And Linderbaum, I don't know that he gets out of Baltimore. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but that was more from a financial side of things because the centers get lumped in with all the offensive linemen.
Yeah.
So you'd be paying on the 5th-year option, you'd be paying like tackle money for a center. So I think that the plan is that they want to resign. I'll take Linderbaum if he gets into free agency, and maybe you can talk him out, away from it if they don't get him signed ahead of time. But yeah, O'Neill supposedly is good to go. He was a full go in practice all week. Darisaw was good, and then he ended up on the list on Thursday. So I don't know. That knee is still a little bit of an issue.
You know what? 80% Darisaw is still better than 100% Justin Schooley.
Yeah.
So, and then his fucking legs, and he's not playing with a fractured fucking shoulder socket either. He's just got some knee soreness going on, and it's different when you throw somebody out there that's capable of having both their legs underneath him than throwing a guy out there with one fucking arm. So
yeah, Jared,
I'm not trying to say I'm hypocritical here.
Yeah, Jared, this is a good one here, and this is a guy I've heard rumblings a couple of times. And
yes,
I wanted him in the draft. I wanted him as a center in the draft.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think he probably is gettable. It's probably going to cost you, maybe a 2nd-round pick to get him. Maybe you can get him for a 3rd. I don't know, but
yeah.
But here, and if you could get him in here and get him playing center for the rest of the year, yeah,
we need to start hitting on these draft picks. We need to start hitting on these draft picks now.
Yeah, I mean, this year we didn't have a lot, and some of the picks were kind of questionable. Ty Felton, a third round pick,
Yeah,
has
Bill
really
was there.
been. I mean, you spent a third round pick on a gunner
A
on the
wing,
punt return
a
team,
gunner. Yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah, Jerry, I'd probably give up a second for him.
I would. He's a proven guy. He can get the job done.
Yeah,
You do it.
and he was a monster. You watch him at the Senior Bowl and stuff like that. He was freaking just pounding
As long as
people
we get
into.
rid of Cooper, we need to get Cooper the fuck
Well,
out of
yeah,
here.
if you don't get rid of him, then it's
It's
probably
not solving
irrelevant.
shit. It's not solving shit without getting him out of here.
No, and they're not going to fire him. I don't think before the end of the year,
Mid-season, no.
unless
They're not
things
going
get
to change their
real.
blocking scheme mid-season.
No, and maybe I don't know. I don't remember who the assistant coordinator is, but maybe it's just adjustments to the scheme can fix things. I don't know, but
Right.
but yeah, on the other side of things, you still got you got Sonic and Knuckles. They're their running duo with Detroit. That we got to be able to stop the run. Hargrave and Allen have got to be in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 100% right on that, Norris. I'm not. And I've tried to give Quasey the benefit of the doubt. That first year, yeah, off.
I mean, is it that we're not hitting on these guys, or is it the developmental aspect of the whole thing?
Or is it a combination of the
Combination of both. Yeah.
I think it's probably a combination of the two, to be honest with you. But
Yeah.
And here's the other thing: can Flores come up with something to stifle Goff? Goff has had Flores's number. Now, was that because of Goff or was it because of Ben Johnson? I don't know. Or is it there again? Is it a combination of the two? But Jared Goff has had good games just about every time against Flores' defense.
Yep. Yeah, he has.
And Goff's not a guy who's going to get out and run. I mean, but he's going to get the ball out relatively quick. He's a pocket guy.
O'Connell's beat Goff. No.
Once.
Yeah.
But is it and unfortunately that was with I believe that was a Ed Donatel defense that beat him.
Yeah. Surprisingly.
Yeah. But anyway, let's roll into the keys to the game. What we think that the
there's
Vikings,
a lot of them here.
Vikings have to do, or at least
what's not a key in this game? Detroit's a fucking damn good team right now. They're hot. Mm-hmm. A lot of people aren't expecting us to win this game. I need to see more out of the Vikings team before I'm a homer a lot of the times through and through, but something's got to get done for us to win this game tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's usually that when I feel this way is usually when the team comes out and surprises me and we come away somehow with a win. So, maybe that's a good thing. I mean, but as far as keys go, there's so many in this game. I mean, you can just throw something in the hat, pull it out, and that's a key. Because that's just how good Detroit is. I mean, they got a great running game. They got a good quarterback that can get rid of the ball quick to his receivers. Got decent receivers, and Amon-Ra especially, and Laporta's starting to come up pretty big for Detroit. Yep. And then you got Williamson who can take the top off your defense if you're not, holding down that part of the game plan in the passing game. So at least we don't have to worry about Jeff Okudah being out there giving up 98% of his passes thrown his way. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
Again, setting up your quarterback for us, setting up JJ to have a get him in rhythm, get his confidence going in his passing. The best way to do that, and this has been his way throughout his entire career, is establishing that run game for McCarthy. So he can rely on that run game and play off the play action and let him do his improv every once in a while. He doesn't absolutely have to play under structure. Let him loose.
Well, and that's the thing, Jay. And our buddy Drew Bunting has said this many times. When JJ was at his best in Michigan, they were allowing him to just go out and play out of structure, doing some of this stuff.
Maybe we see Hawkins is starting to get involved a little bit more if that's the case.
Maybe.
So
if you've got O'Neal and Darrisaw
I look
back
for
out
Addison
there.
to have a huge day tomorrow, to be honest with
I
you.
do too.
I look for Addison to have a huge day tomorrow.
Because that was one thing that McCarthy did not have the first two games when he did play.
And that's who he
Was-
seemed to have the most chemistry with this past offseason.
Exactly. Because with Jefferson was out with his hamstring in training camp, McCarthy and Addison really developed a good chemistry there. And I think that's going to help tomorrow.
They stopped Garrett. Can they stop Hutch? I mean, I hope so.
But the big thing is when McCarthy does drop back to pass, you got to get the ball out quick.
Well, you can't be putting them in these fucking 5-step drops. If you're going to do that,
can't. And I know that's what Kevin O'Connell likes to do, but you can't always
line
do
him up
what
in shotgun.
you like to do.
Right. If you want to get that fucking quick pass game going, then line him up in shotgun. Don't make him take 5-step drops.
Right. Yeah, because having him back, at least back in the shotgun, you give him an extra half second at least.
That's been big with the season, Lone Wolf, is we need to start fast. We gotta, and this has been a problem with Kevin O'Connell in his time here. He has had an issue having this team ready and starting quick. Other than last year, when we were winning most of our games for the first three quarters,
or when they have the scripted plays, they'll go out and they'll score right off the get-go, and then they'll go into hibernation for a quarter and a half or 2 quarters before they finally get it figured out again in the fourth quarter.
Right. I don't even know that we put together maybe 2 complete games in Kevin O'Connell's entire coaching tenure here. Complete games where we've played well on defense, offense, and special teams.
We haven't had one yet this year.
No,
even that blowout win against Cincinnati, the offense didn't do much a lot of that game.
No.
You know, it helped that you had 2 defensive touchdowns and a few other things. But
exactly there. Well, then maybe he should have thought twice before he signed a big fucking contract then. Mm-hmm. That's his own damn fault. He has nobody to blame but for himself.
Yeah, and we're not going after Myles Garrett, so we don't have to worry about it anyway.
No.
So. But yeah, tomorrow, stop the fucking run. If you let Jahmyr Gibbs start running on you, we're done.
Especially with that speed that he has, But
and
Montgomery doesn't typically play well against us. At least he hasn't.
No, but Jahmyr Gibbs has killed us the last 3 or 4 games at least.
Yes. But Montgomery, I'm not too worried about. And I'll watch him go out tomorrow and have a 100-yard game. But he has typically not played well against us. But Jahmyr Gibbs has had our number. But you know what? That's the thing, though, Rhino, too, is Goff has had our number, too. He had, I think a game last year where he completed his first fucking 11 passes against us. You can't be having that.
I think that first game, the one that
he only missed
close,
on 2 passes that first game.
Yeah, I think he was like 19 of 21 or something like that in that entire fucking game.
He's been extremely efficient against our defense.
Mm-hmm. So, and 2 other things that we got tomorrow more than anything.
We're going to have our hands full. I'll leave it at that.
We do, but keep everyone healthy tomorrow. Let's get out of there without any injuries.
Yeah.
And just, I want to see JJ McCarthy show us something. Even if it's a loss, just show that you have some command of the game out there.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
That you're able to make some plays, and that you don't go out there and look completely fucking lost.
Right, like you did against the Falcons, to be completely honest.
Yeah, but to be fair,
one day of practice.
Right, but to be fair, looking at what the Falcons have done most of the season with that defense, they've made. There's only been one quarterback that's thrown for. I think the most that they threw up until I think Tua last week. I think had a good game against him, but before that, I think the most yards that any quarterback had gotten against that defense was 221 yards.
Yeah, that Falcons defense ain't nothing to fuck with.
No, it's not.
Damn good defense over there in Atlanta.
And we still, should have won that game. But there again, that was another one where JJ McCarthy shouldn't have been out there in that fourth quarter.
No.
And
I'm sick of these people ready to throw in the towel on our quarterback after 2 games. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking dumb.
I've seen all I need to see. Well, there's a good thing you're not a fucking GM then.
Right.
So anyway, we're getting back down the fucking rabbit hole again. And we gone so far down the rabbit hole, we found the fucking rabbit. His name's Jeff, and he doesn't know what the fuck's going on either.
My name is Jeff.
My name is Iridius Dominius Maximus. My name's Jeff.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on to our prediction segment, where we not only talk about and predict, of course, the Vikings game for the upcoming weekend, but also our competitors in the NFC North. So let's start out with the Chicago Bears Sunday noon, going to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals.
Who? Bengals versus who?
Bears and the Bengals.
Oof.
And Joe Flacco questionable with a shoulder issue.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, Browning can come in and he can win a game. So, and the Bears don't look as good as they did last week as they had the prior 4. So, and so you said it's in Cincinnati?
In Cincinnati.
I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Bengals this week.
Yeah. Now, I saw a stat today. The last 8 games, the series is tied at 4 apiece between these two teams, but I think the Bears have won the last 3.
If that Chicago offense can get going against the Bengals, it's going to be a long day for the Bengals.
And the Bengals defense is not good.
Right.
So
it comes down to that Chicago offense getting into rhythm and going. But if they can't find that rhythm on offense, I look for the Bengals to win.
I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I got to go with, as much as I don't like to, I got to pick the Bears in this one just because.
I think it's going to be close too.
I mean, Flacco can play, and I think it bodes a lot better. But what I've seen out of Browning this year, he's played terrible. So if he's got to play, I think that
maybe sometimes it's good though to bench a player during the season and then let him come out again.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, and there's no question about that one. Chase and Higgins are a top 3 wide receiver duo in the league.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to take Chicago in this one just because I'm not sure who the quarterback is going to be, and 42-year-old Flacco.
Like you said, I can see it being a close game too. I think it could go either way, but I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears. Second game, the Carolina Panthers traveling to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers.
Well, the Panthers have been a sneaky team this year. They really have. Not saying that they're a good team, but they're definitely much more improved than what they were last year. And Bryce Young is starting to figure it out.
And their defense is decent.
Yes, Bryce, and like I said, Bryce Young is starting to figure it out. As ugly as he has played in his years in the league, the last few games he's looked the part of an NFL quarterback. So I think this is a game that Green Bay needs to win, as far as just to prove that they can put away anybody on any given Sunday. But I could also believe that Carolina could come in there and steal one too from Green Bay. I'm going to pick Green Bay here right now because they are playing against Carolina, but I'm not saying that Carolina can't win this game.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Green Bay should have lost to Arizona last week.
Yeah.
It was just from a late game comeback. And I don't know if you can make that. I don't know if you can make that late game comeback against Carolina's defense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm going to put this as my
Rico Dowdle, man. How about him?
Yeah, Rico Dowdle's he's had a career renaissance this
ripping
year.
And tearing in Carolina at running back.
And I think that helps, especially if Carolina can establish that run and he can get going. That gives him an even better chance. I'm going to take this as my upset special of the week. I think Carolina goes into Green Bay and sneaks one out.
I love it. Yeah.
All right. So that puts us to, of course, the main game of the weekend. Minnesota going to Detroit to take on the Lions.
We got our hands full, man. We got our hands full. and we're playing in Detroit. If we could go in there and somehow steal one in Detroit, and then like we did against the Chicago to start the year, and play the last two at home, that'd be something huge for us. Make things interesting come the end of the season. If we play anything like we did against the Chargers, we're gonna walk in there and walk out losers again.
If we play like we did against the Chargers, we're going to get beat by 40.
Right. This is the week where it's going to either make or break our season. This is the week where we need it. We need it the most. Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been must wins, but no, I wasn't on that train where they were must wins. I am right now. This is that game that you need to win that will either make or break your season. You win this game, you turn your season around. You lose this game, you might as well, like I said earlier in the episode, just let it be JJ McCarthy's developmental year. Play it out with JJ McCarthy. Either way, play it out with McCarthy.
Yeah, you have to at this point.
But this is the paramount game.
I mean, what are you going to do? Bring in John Wolford now?
Right. Well, fuck that. We should have went out and got Heineke. That was me. But yeah, this is your make or break game of the season right now. This is where it comes down to it. If you can't walk in there and win that game, then I would just see what you got in McCarthy, and if you make the playoffs, you make the playoffs. But this is where it comes down to where you got to win. You got to win, especially when you're 1-0 in the division. If you can keep beating your division rivals, you're gonna have a really good shot at making the playoffs. So,
yeah.
Divisional games mean a lot more than any other game of the season. So you gotta beat your division rivals. And like I said, at this point in the season, it's a make or break game, big time.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna give up on the team if we lose, but it's looking pretty fucking dire in that case. But I'm gonna say we figure it out, and I don't have a lot of faith in this pick. I'm gonna hope that we figure it out. That McCarthy is that spark that this team needed coming back, and he shows us that he's the guy to going forward, that he can make shit happen, and that it gives us something to believe in. And I'm going to go with the Vikings in a close game.
It's something's got to give.
Hopefully, it doesn't turn into a boat race because Detroit will beat us.
Yeah, something's got to give here. I mean, Kevin O'Connell has not fared well against Detroit. It's one of the worst teams that he has coached against. And when there's been many of those games where Dan Campbell has done something extremely stupid that basically would hand the game to the Vikings, and they refused to take it. Just like what the Eagles did to us a couple weeks ago when they were begging us to beat them, and we refused to take it. That's happened a lot in the Kevin O'Connell era.
Yeah.
And McCarthy coming back. I mean, I still have faith in JJ as our long-term answer. I went out and bought a fucking McCarthy jersey. I mean, but
it's way too early to lose faith on your guy that you're trying to develop into your franchise quarterback.
Right, but until you got to show me something here, and you've shown me so far this year that I can't trust you.
Right.
I can't trust them to have found that magic elixir during this mini bye to go out and – because, I mean, we went into the bye, we beating Cleveland over in England and thinking things maybe we're starting to turn around a little bit, and we come out and shit the bed, or basically refuse to win the Eagles game and then completely fucking shit the bed a week ago against – the Chargers, where the team didn't even look like they wanted to be there. Half of them didn't look like they didn't even show up.
We looked like we could have got beat by Alabama.
North Dakota State could beat that team last Thursday.
Exactly. We look like complete fucking shit. I haven't seen a Vikings game like that in years.
No, that's one of the worst performances I've seen out of this team in a long time.
Yeah.
So they damn well better have done some soul searching and stuff in this last 10 days when they've been off, and they better have figured something out. Kevin O'Connell better have sat in the fucking mirror, looked in that mirror for like 6 hours and had a come to Jesus meeting with himself.
Yeah.
So I can't, and I'm not being negative here, but I can't pick Minnesota until they show me something. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope they. I
Every
hope
right
they
to feel
go.
that way.
I hope they go out there, and I hope they just lay a fucking whooping on Detroit. But I can't pick them until they start showing me something.
Oh, they need to come out as an angry physical team.
They need to come out. They need to come out as pissed off as you and I have been all night tonight,
Yes.
and keep that for the 4 quarters of football.
Yes. All
Go
4
out
fucking
there and
quarters.
show that you deserve to be in conversation as being a good team.
Complete game is what we need and deserve to
Yes,
see.
we have not had a complete game this year. Tomorrow would be a great time to have the first one. But yeah, I can't pick Minnesota. As much as I want to, and I'm not saying I don't want to see them win because I hope to God they win. But
You know what I think might help us win, Rhino?
What's that?
Is if you grow a mustache.
Well, I got one started.
I see that.
It's just more of its lighting than anything else. I did shave yesterday, but the rest of this is so gray, and this part hasn't gotten gray yet, so it looks darker than it actually is.
So you got
if we win tomorrow, I'll keep this going, and I'll actually make a fucking mustache.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
You got the Lions tomorrow, so I got like I said, not a lot of faith put in my pick here, but I'm going to go Vikings in a close game, and hopefully we can upset the Lions tomorrow.
Yeah, I hope you're right, but like I said, I'm going to go Detroit just because. So, and I'm going to disagree with that. If you start looking at a lot of the quarterbacks aren't throwing for 400-yard games, or even a lot of 300-yard games this year.
I don't know, fucking the way Jalen Hurts and fucking Justin Herbert looked against this defense the last 2 games.
I'm talking the league in general.
Right, absolutely.
The passing yards are down this year.
I won't say that until I see it, right?
No, I'm not either. Is he capable of it? Yeah, he's capable of it.
Yes.
But we got to see it before I'm going to predict something like that. And Jerry, you're probably right. Yeah, he's not a guy that's going to go out there and
not yet, anyways.
No,
not yet, anyways.
Can he get there? Yeah, he could absolutely get there.
Yeah.
But right now, no. I do not expect him to come out tomorrow and do that.
He's got to learn to be a good quarterback before he learns to be a great quarterback. So
yep. Now, I just want an efficient game out of him. No stupid mistakes. I
want 4 good quarters out of him.
Don't turn the ball over. Go out there, and if you throw for 175 yards and a touchdown, but they win the game, that's a win. Other than it being a win in the box score, that's a win for this team.
Right.
If he goes out and throws for 225 and 3 touchdowns, but they lose the game, that's still a win.
I agree. I like that thought process, Rhino. Yes.
I want to, just McCarthy go out there and show that he belongs.
Yes. That's a great point.
That's all I'm looking for tomorrow. I want to win, but if they don't win, I at least want to see
development
and improvement over what we've seen. I want to see 4th quarter Chicago JJ McCarthy for more than 1 quarter. But with that, guys, we've gone well over on our hour here tonight.
15 minutes here.
Want to thank everybody for joining with us in the therapy session, bitch session, whatever you want to call it, vent line pregame, I guess. Again, you guys, great comments as always. The OGs that show up every week, we appreciate you guys. A few new people in here this week. Again, we love seeing the new people. If you haven't done so, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit the follow. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. Follow all of those. Jack, good evening. You hit the likes, hit the follows, all that. Really appreciate it. Helps us out a ton. Let's just we got to take it 1 week at a time here. Let's go out, put on a good showing tomorrow, win, lose, or draw. I don't want to see a draw. I hate ties. Ties are fucking stupid.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But let's just go out and look like a competent football team tomorrow. That's all I'm going to ask for.
And build off of that going forward, hopefully.
Yes, exactly. So with that, again, thank you, everybody. And why don't you take us home, Brunswick?
Shout out to the Filipino fan club, right, Rhino?
Yes,
Did you do
absolutely.
that? All right. Thanks again, guys, for coming back in here. Like Rhino said, to the new names as well. Welcome. Stick with us. We love the engagement. Chevy, I love seeing you in here. Jack, Norse, of course, all the OGs, Ant, Jer, all these guys. Doc, Norse. I think I said Norse twice. Swede,
Bob,
I've seen you in
Bob
here
was
tonight.
in there earlier. Yeah.
Swede, yup. Disgusting Act, he was in here earlier. All you guys, I'm sorry for forgetting anybody's name or whatever. If somebody new came in here, I missed you, but you guys are what makes the show. You guys are the show. You guys are just as much of a part of this as we are in Rhino and Brunswick. So thanks again for being here. Do not forget to turn your clocks back an hour tonight. We all gain an hour's sleep.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Make sure you change your clocks from sunshine and happiness to darkness and despair. But
but yes, let's go out. Like Rhino said, let's see us get better. Hopefully walk away with a win and build off of that. Prove me wrong, KOC. Let me see what type of coach you really can be. Evolve. Get the job done. I want to see 4 good quarters of football. I want to see good development out of JJ tomorrow and fix whatever problems that we had and move forward and continue on with this season. So, Susan, hello. Hello again, the Disgusting X. But yes, turn your clock back an hour tonight. We'll see you all next week, Saturday, 9 p.m. And with that being said, Aubrey and Millie, if you're out there watching, that loves and misses you, skull.
Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.